I want to talk about
Parmesan.
cheese for 4
Oh,
hours.
yeah,
No, I'm
cheese.
fucking down. I
I'm
will
so
fuck cheese.
glad that the moment I unmuted the stream, what came through was, I just want to talk about cheese for 4 hours.
Love it.
From the DM.
Good intro.
Listen, that's how they can capture our pure essence. Just the energy of this group.
Somebody do me a favor of just like clipping that, clipping the start.
Clip
Oh.
it, ship it. I don't even know how to make a clip, but I'll figure it out. I'll do it.
Okay.
No, I don't want to report you.
Please don't.
I accidentally reported you. I hate when that happens.
Whoops,
Turned
Shadow
into
Man.
Edward voice. Okay. Let's not talk about cheese for 4 hours and actually get started. Last session, we started as Eli was headed out to meet with Nicole Black, the artificer, who told him that there's a chance that they could restore some of Eli's flight module abilities with enough time and patience, though he seemed a little thrown off uh, continuously by Eli's youthfulness and the fact that he didn't seem to know quite how they worked in the first place. A few hours later, Z and Galeen went shopping for new clothes and for swamp boots with the looming marsh in their future, and were interrupted by a small black cat who seemed to be wanting to show them something. Deciding to follow it, the cat, whose name was later revealed to be Dusk, led them quite literally all the way across Baldur's Gate to a small home with like the windows boarded up and curtains drawn, and the cat goes inside. So Z knocks on the door, and the two of them come face to face with one Bori Brightwood, who is a wizard who seems to have some screws loose, and tells them that Dusk the cat knows how to lead people to him who either need help or can help him. Whether or not that's true is up for debate. He elaborates to the two of them on his conspiracies about murders in Baldur's Gate, and Z spots some hints about dragons in the news clippings Bori has hung up on a wall, and decides to stay to try and unravel this mystery with Bori. Galeen leaves Z alone and returns to the Fox Traveler Steakhouse, where the rest of the party had stayed overnight. And a lot of them proceed to interrogate Arabex. You get some information out of him, and a begrudging ally. And the party then leaves, leaving him to live, and sending a message to Eli to go rejoin Z, as we left off with Bori re-entering the room that Z was in with the strings hung up all over the walls, tying these clues together with like a stack of books, and he was telling Z, I think I know what's wrong with your magic, and that's where we're gonna pick up. As Z, you are probably standing like on something as you're like threading the now I think green string across some of these newspaper clippings, sort of in your element. And Bori rushes back into the room with a stack of books and says this to you.
Wait, what? What do you mean you know what's wrong with my magic?
Well, you said it explodes sometimes. Is that the words you use?
It's unstable sometimes. I've had it summon a unicorn once.
A unicorn?
Yeah, it was a strange.
Fascinating. Well, and he like pauses and like puts some of the books down. Because he has like an armful of just these books that you saw in the other room that he led you into first that were stacked up against the walls.
Mhm.
And he pulls out one and starts like flipping through it. And he says, uh, a long time ago, like the during the time of troubles, long ago, there are spots in the weave. Do you know what the weave is?
Yeah, I know what the weave is.
There's spots in the weave that were torn, and it caused these wild magic zones. It were the first areas where raw magic burst forth in the spell plague, and they still exist to this day. Um, it's just spots where the weave was damaged or distorted, and for some reason, my Astra can't fix it. Uh, but in areas like that, a spell cast could backfire, target the wrong thing or location or person. Anything could occur.
Yeah, no, I've read about that when I was getting my lessons for using magic as a inside Neverwinter, but I don't see how that would affect me unless you want to say that there's a huge hole in the weave moving with me. That makes no sense.
Well, a long time ago, wizards did try to tap into these zones, wild mages, but it proved too volatile, and so they stopped, or at least they stopped publicly doing it. I'm sure there's someone out there who is going to die because they upcast a fireball, but it seems like there's a chance that you might be a walking version of this kind of wild magic zone. I don't think it's a huge. Do other people's spells get affected?
Uh, well, it was that one time back at the end just recently. Not that other people's spells were affected, but they cast a spell and it affected me. Or I think it did. It gave me a wicked migraine.
Interesting. Well, I'm oftentimes these this wild magic seems to get worse with it can get triggered with the same way with like strong magical auras. Um and uh, there's a chance that if it was a very strong spell, it could have affected you. Or it's the same thing as like a teleportation circle or a portal. These things would probably affect a nearby wild magic zone. If you tried to make a portal in a wild magic zone, it would probably be disastrous.
Noted, do not use portals.
Just like Geralt.
God damn it. That got me. Alright, well, great. Do you know if there's anything we can do to stop it from getting worse? Or in case I do need to use a portal, any advice? I really don't
Maybe
want
I have
my,
never.
my insides to end up on my outsides.
That would probably be uncomfortable. I've never met someone who seems to have this issue, so I wouldn't know exactly. But he like stops, like it's like mid like flipping through a page and looks thoughtful. Um, I'm not sure. Has it always been volatile? Have you like grown up with this? Has it gotten worse? Better?
Well, when I was younger, it was a little bit worse because I really didn't know how to, well, use my powers. It was more so when I just discovered them. But once I got a hang of them, it was pretty alright until not too long ago. It's been sort of going haywire, more so the more I get into danger. There's that one instance where I got teleported like halfway across the Sword Coast, and after that it's been a little bit worse every time.
He like stops and looks at you, and you got teleported halfway across the Sword Coast.
Well, it's not halfway across the Sword Coast. I was in the mire of the dead men, and I went back to Neverwinter in a single jump.
Interesting.
That's-
Yes.
I believe that's about. I want to say it's over 100 miles, but I actually don't have the map at hand to really check it.
You asking me to?
Yeah, pretty much. Because I actually don't remember how far away it is. I know that it's really far in terms of like land. Oh, it's 150 miles. Okay. Oh, it wasn't
Yeah.
that far. It's like 150 miles, 160 miles that I got teleported.
Interesting. And how long ago was this? Was it in
Uh,
relation to it recently getting a lot worse, or?
Well, that happened about 6. No, it's gonna be 8 months now, coming next week. After that, I didn't really have a need for magic. I was in research and bookkeeping. But once I hit the road again, especially lately that I've been getting into some dangerous situations, it's definitely gotten worse a lot more often as well.
Bori like puts. Go ahead.
First, it was just getting pushed around by a random force or the backlash of a spell, and then it was creating well, casting myself in flames. Now it was summoning a unicorn, and there was a area of anti-gravity. So it's been getting worse, definitely.
Yeah, Bori puts like his book down back on top of this like big pile of books he brought into this room, and like it looks like he's thinking, um, and starts like walking around the room, just like pacing, and he says, "Well, there's a chance that whatever happened in that mirror that you were in, there's that it might have triggered something. Whether that means there's something immensely powerful in that mirror that could have disrupted the weave even further than it is around you always, or something else. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not an expert on wild magic, but maybe like I said before, a teleportation circle of great strength, or a portal nearby, or there could just be a really big one that happened to be made at the same time somewhere else. But that would be insane.
Well, I ended up in the middle of a street, so I doubt. Well, it could be. I don't know. You don't think magical creatures being around me could have an effect on that? Yeah.
Maybe if they can cast spells.
This one definitely must have been able to cast some spells.
Then, if it was a very powerful magical creature and spellcaster, then I'm sure it could disrupt it. Oftentimes, wild magic circles, the more spell casting is happening in them, the more
Powerful they get. Chaotic.
powerful they get, the more chaotic they get, the more tangled the weave grows. So,
Right.
there's a chance.
There's a chance?
You are free to look through these books if you'd like. there's a chance that that might have been it. Or something else that I don't know. I can't. Well, I could tap into your brain, but I won't do that because that's invasive.
Maybe after when I have some time, I might. You look into a piece of my mind? I'm pretty sure that's not the expression, but we can look into it. Now, onto this investigation. I will need to go visit this nobleman. There's something about their
Oh. Yes.
something about their hallucinations that doesn't sit right with me. I've been having some dreams myself about dragons, and honestly, it's proved not to be a coincidence before. So I would like to have a word with someone that might have some similar problem.
Maria like nods very sagely, and says, "Well, you better be careful, because if you're also having dreams about dragons, then maybe someone in your family died."
He just looks at Bori with a look of just like absolute horror in his eyes as this slowly sinks into his mind. Like, okay,
Bori shrugs.
right. Um, I'll have to
You
check
might want to
in.
check in with them.
Yeah. If you don't mind, I think I need to get some hair.
Of course. Would you like? I will let you out. If you need to come back in, just knock.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah. And Bori, seemingly unaware by the distraught he has brought upon Z, leads you to the door, unlocks all the locks, and lets you out. I don't know if there's anything in particular Z wants to do other
No,
than
it's like
just get some air.
no. Z's just like walking, like almost robotically, behind Bori up until they get through the door. He just nods,
Mm-hmm.
and the moment right after, he spreads his wings and takes vertically off. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
he's just gonna be flying over the city towards the river, and just like running, flying circles just to clear his mind for a moment.
Mm-hmm. How long do you think Z would do this for? Just for the sake of maintaining time between you guys.
Yeah, 30 minutes, easy.
Mm-hmm.
Probably once, yeah, around 30 minutes, and at that point, he'll probably like have had time to vent a little bit. And because he's flying over the town, he'll probably remember that he did plan to go to the tower, and he'll fly down towards the tower.
Ah, yes. Then yeah, Z, you get some air, and start heading towards the sea tower, where you intended to speak with the leader of the guards of the lower city of Baldur's Gate. And which probably means the most of the rest of the party, everyone but Eli. You guys walk through the city streets of Baldur's Gate, and Galeen, you know your way to this man's house. And you lead the rest of the party there, and you see this house for the second time. The rest of you, for the first time, just this small home with boarded up windows, and it seems quiet.
Somebody lives there?
Tumbleweeds.
A new friend, maybe? I'm gonna knock, do the If anybody heard that.
Yep.
Yes, just barely, but we did.
The shave, the shave and
didn't
the
wanna-
haircut.
Yeah, I didn't want to knock too loud and ruin people's ears.
Yeah. You knock, Colleen. And after a moment, you hear from inside. Azamat, is that you? Are you back?
No, it's Galeen and some of my friends, companions.
You hear it's quiet, and then you see the door open again without the locks unlatching, like for the second time, as the rest of you see this man for the first time. And he like peers out the crack in the door towards all of you. He notices you, Galeen, and looks back at Haskell and Alba and Gira. And he says, "Are I can trust them?" Looking at you, Galeen.
Yeah, you can trust them, or you know, I can make sure that they're not a problem. I look around at everybody else like giggling because I'm joking, and they probably don't are like.
Yeah, he like closes the door again, and you hear the sound of the locks unlatching, and he opens it and like ushers you inside, all of you.
You said something about Azamet not being here?
Oh yes, we were talking. I thought I knew some information about maybe why his powers were a little chaotic. You know how he's talked about how his magic oftentimes got out of hand. We talked
Right.
about the clues. I warned him to be safe, and then he asked for some air, and he has it back.
Gotcha. Well, we'll give him his space.
Yes, I hope he comes back eventually. It sounded like he was going to relay a plan, but then left. So, and the rest of you, as you're uh, stepping into this home, whoever comes in last, Bori gestures for you to close the door and lock it. And you see the little black cat that Billion probably told you about, like trot out into the hallway. It starts like, it's like sits down and just like looks up at all of you, as Bori is talking to Galeen and has sort of paused in the entryway of his home. And he, not the cat, Bori, looks at all of you, turning his attention away from Galeen for a moment, and says, "Well, if Galeen here can trust you and Dust can trust Galeen, then I hope I can trust you too. I'm Bori Brightwood. It's nice to meet you."
Nice to meet you too.
Pascal.
Yeah. I assume we all introduce ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Who's Dusk?
Oh, Dusk is my cat. She gestures down at the black cat, who blinks
Your
stuff
cat.
at all of you. Yes, she is a wonderful companion.
I'll
Okay.
bend over and I'll pet her a little bit.
Yeah, she appreciates the pets.
We don't have these creatures where I'm from. She's soft.
Catfish.
Literally what I was thinking.
Yeah, if y'all knew you're a fish, you would know that those are freshwater fish, not.
I do know.
God, you're stupid. Fish knowledge, right,
So
guys?
you never traveled? Wow.
Inland, apparently.
Imagine only being in salt water your whole life.
Explains why she's so salty.
Yeah, as you reach down and pet Dust, she kind of does the cat thing. She leans her head into your hand. And before he nods, it's like, yeah, you are a Triton. I have only met a few Tritons in my life. I must say, it must be strange living under the sea. Under
Yeah.
the sea.
It's a bit of adjustment getting my land legs, as they say.
Mm.
They don't
I
say
can
that.
hear Heidi through you, by the way, Robert.
Mute yourself, bitch.
I'd imagine. How long have you been above ground? 2 months? A year?
Probably
Couple
less
days?
than 2 months. Gosh,
Interesting.
what is time? Yeah, I'm not. I'm not. It's been it's definitely a learning curve trying to learn how to walk. But I'm getting it maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. He nods, and looks at the whole group. Um, and he says, "Are you all here to help with the murder problem too?"
What murder problem?
Oh, well, I was explaining to Galeen and Azamet before he left, that Baldur's Gate is a city full of murder, and not all of it can be coincidences. So obviously some things are linked, and
Oh, you should see
I've
his
been trying to work on it myself.
You should see
Oh
his
yes,
little,
it turns and
he
starts
probably like
leading
lights
you
up
all
like
down the
so excited. Let me show you.
It starts leading you all down the hallway towards the room and opens the door and steps in. Probably almost trips on the stack of books he left there because he was showing them to Z, and gestures at his board. That definitely looks like what a crazy man would do. Um, and he
There's
says, uh, "Go ahead."
there's probably like even more chaos now because it's his work plus everything that Z added on top of it.
Oh no, the
Uh-huh.
crazies
There's just like
unite.
there used to be just like the red string going from here to there, and now there's like green string that indicates where things happen in the same place. Then there's a blue one, it's like the same motive or suspected motive. And then there's like if they're related by families on a different color, probably yellow.
Yeah, Galeen has changed since you were last year.
Uh,
uh,
it looks a little
and
different
he
than last
says,
time.
"Yes, Azamet was helping me with something. That it seems I haven't actually. I was in the other room looking for books, but it seems like he's picked up on some details I might have missed. The other colors is a very good idea. Your friend Azamet is very smart."
Pascal's just gonna take a seat and like
Uh-huh.
stare at him.
um, and like once again looks at Alba and Pascal and Kira, and he says, as you can see, there's obviously some pattern here. Exactly what the pattern is hasn't been completely worked out, but your friend Azamet mentioned something about dreams about dragons. I'm afraid his family might be murdered. But and he said he wanted to go talk to him. He lives far away from here, so maybe that's where he went.
Oh, I don't think he would have just left.
Oh, not like far away out of Baldur's Gate. He does live in Baldur's Gate.
Oh, sorry. Far away. Just your thought of far away and my thought of far away are very different.
Yes, it has shifted the past 20 years since I started living here. I can only imagine yours is even greater than mine was when I was not living in Baldur's Gate, though. I did not travel an ocean.
I was gonna like go up and start examining the different things on this board.
Yeah,
give
Kuro
me
would go as well.
give me investigation checks with advantage, thanks to Z, probably. Because as you like look at it, a lot of the like red streak
Hey.
seems to be pretty nonsensical. Um, but the stuff that Z's put together, like Z was a professional, and not just some man living in his house with his cat.
Almost 2 20s.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, the two of you go up to the board while Bori goes on about whatever. And you see probably the first thing you notice is all the strings lead back to this one note clipping about the nobles that Z took particular interest in. About Delilah and Robert Staunton, the wife and father of the only remaining member of the family, and it talks about in the clipping that he's had isolated himself after the incident, and there's like rumors about like hallucinations and ghosts and dragons, and it looks like a lot of the multicolored strings lead back here most likely. And as you look at the rest of it, uh, you see nearby is another like clipping about another patriarch, which is the name for the nobles in Baldur's Gate, who very closely, like in time, and this probably strikes Gira as strange, because the patriarchs are very well protected by the Watch in Baldur's Gate, but very closely in like time. This other patriarch also was killed, and like in like a corner of that note clipping, it's like scribbled conveniently in all like caps. It doesn't look like Azimuth's handwriting. And a lot of the other note clippings seem like they might be unrelated. Again, Gira, you lived in Baldur's Gate for a good chunk of your life. Accidents happen in Pirate City. Um, but there are a few other names that are like this person, like there's a lot of like this person was like the father of someone who was in charge of something.
Gotcha.
And as the two of you, Alba and Gira, stand probably like side by side looking at the mess of this wall. Bori's going on in the background. And at one point, he would turn to you, Haskell, and to pause to look at you, and be like, Triton and a lizard folk, where do you come from?
Toon.
Toon.
He nods.
Bori does not seem to get it, and but like nods along with you, and says, what brings you to Baldur's Gate? Most lizard folk, I don't think, like it here. A lot of them stay where they were, worshipping dragons.
Haskell just kind of like makes a rumble sound in his throat but doesn't speak. Because he's not entirely sure what he can say to this individual.
Can I make an insight check for Mr. Low Wisdom. He seems to understand. And it's just kind of like nods again a few times, and looks back at the other people in the room, and then looks at Galeen, and says, "Make sure they don't destroy that. I will be right back," and leaves the room. And you guys are alone.
Destroy it.
I know you were gonna say something like that.
I mean, it doesn't look like the guy's completely crazy. At least not on this.
Yeah, there definitely seems to be some evidence to back up what he claims.
Though I'm not super familiar with these patriarchs, so it's hard to say how connected they might actually be.
I mean, if we figure out how everything's connected,
There's also
maybe
the question.
maybe we can help him, and in return, maybe he can help us.
There's also the question of if this is connected to us at all. What? Well, you guys said the cat led you here, right?
Yeah, the cat's a familiar.
Yeah, definitely. Wonder why it led you here.
Don't know, but we were just shopping, and then the cat was looking at us, and we were like, "That cat's looking at us," and then it ran away, and then like looked back at us, and then ran away again, and it was like saying, "Hey, follow me," and so we're just like, "I guess we're following a cat. This has never happened to me before," and then we're here.
For future reference, I would suggest not just following cats around, but it seemed to work out this time.
Listen, you left Z and I alone. We're like, what do we do? Just not follow this cat? Like, that seems silly. So we did. Listen, this new land business is, I'm experiencing so many new things, and so I was like, well, worst comes to worst, we kill somebody, but so far it's worked out, I guess.
I will remind Galeen at the note of if we help him, maybe he will help us. He seemed pretty enthusiastic to help you just because. Just because his cat led you here earlier.
Man's a little obsessed with his cat, but I mean, no judgment. Cats are pretty cool, I guess.
Galeen meets the first cat she ever
Yeah.
knew. Cats are cool.
Meets
not.
another cat, gets scratched to shit.
Sorry, guys. Turns out cats
Meet the
really like
tiger.
fish.
Yeah, I was gonna say, walks into an alley full of cats. Oh, this is wonderful! So many cats. 2 minutes later, oh God, so many cats.
You haven't true fear until you fight a swarm of cats.
Not even a paladin of conquest can withstand.
How did Galeen die? A swarm of cats. She couldn't take them all.
Krieg to a swarm of kobolds, Galeen to a swarm of cats.
It's so funny because in my list of questions for Galeen, it asked if she was a cat person or a dog person. And I was like, I think that she would be a cat person. And it was like I was predicting the future. Amazing.
Yeah, after a little while, you guys being alone in this room, Ori comes back. He doesn't have anything with him, but he comes back and like glances at Haskell again, and then looks over towards Gira, standing by his like board of notes. And he says, "Well, what do you think?"
Seems like there's at least merit to this. I mean, this That's a lot of information collected. It's quite impressive.
Yes, I fear for my life sometimes in this city. Even though I know I could probably defend myself easily against the common folk, but still. So I want to get to the bottom of this if the guards don't want to.
It's all kind
Isn't that a
of
little odd?
It's
The
a
guards
little
not
odd.
wanting to get to the bottom of this.
Yes, I think they just ignore it. You know, they see a murder, and then they do the press, and then clean it up, and wait for the next one to happen. It's just how guards work. They do it in every city.
very true. My single guards, they don't try that hard.
The one guard in the party isn't here to say anything about that.
No, we have the word of the thief in the party.
Once again, the more accomplished of the party leaves for 2 minutes. Everything goes to shit.
Technically more than 30 minutes, but who's
Yes.
counting?
um, yeah, he nods. Says, yes, I have been to several cities on the Sword Coast, and everywhere it seems like they're a little incompetent. You know, you wonder why there's always adventurers. It's because they can't do their job.
I mean, we did save greenness from the guards. Couldn't, so.
He like gives you like a look. It's hard to describe what exactly he is feeling, but like nods at you and says, "Oh, congratulations! I am glad. I don't think I've ever been to that town. I assume it's a town and not a city, but it's a good thing you saved it."
Yeah, large dragons are scary for sure, though.
Dragons
Insight check.
against Boris?
Yeah,
Sure.
I don't know. Just in case he's like, oh, yes, Greenest, never been there before, don't know what that is.
He seems to genuinely not know where
Cool.
Greenest is. It is a tiny little town.
He's
in
a
the middle of
plant.
Greenfield.
He's a plant by the dragon cult. I knew it.
uh, and with that insight check, as I imagine Haskell's like crouched in the corner, just
Yeah, he's slob
watching
squatting.
this suspicious man. Yeah, watching this suspicious man who tried to ask him why he's in Baldur's Gate. When he like looked at Gira, when he said we saved Greenest, it looked a little reminiscent, like reminiscing. But he says, congratulations, I'm glad you said dragons. And he says, dragons? Like,
Yeah.
looking incredulous. Where is Greenest that you're getting dragons?
Like southwest here, not that far away.
Greenfields, I think the area is called.
You see, as you like give him this information, just like this look of like dread, but also like he's getting like light bulb moment. Whether or not he's actually figured something out is a different question. It says, a dragon in the green fields. That's like 600 miles away from here. Do you think dragons are coming here?
I couldn't imagine it. It doesn't seem like. I mean, dragons like to live, so I would assume they would attack a large city.
No, but if there's a lot of them, then they could probably take over Baldur's Gate and, destroy the Sword Coast. Or all of it.
There's a lot of anything that could.
We only saw one.
And we killed 3 of the eggs. So.
Where there's one, there might be more. Dragons are pretty solid, but there might be more.
That's what we're banking on.
You're going to find dragons?
At least one of them.
Interesting. Stay safe, and if you start getting dreams about dragons, it seems like it's all connected here. If you start getting dreams about dragons, check up on your family.
That won't be necessary.
You just hear Galingo.
Thankfully, it's not going to be difficult.
Oh, speaking of family, you said that you have met a few other Tritons before me.
Oh, sure, yes, I have.
Do you by chance recall their names?
Um,
And I'm just like looking at him like intently, like waiting for a response.
I'm not sure. It was a long time. It was when I was still adventuring. So it's a long time ago. There was only a few of them. There was like 5 of them. And like looks like he's thinking very hard. And he says, I think we saw them in Waterdeep? No. Around Waterdeep? It would make sense. A lot of things go to Waterdeep. I don't remember their names. There was like 5 of them. They were a little strange, but I know they were heading out of Waterdeep about 25 years ago.
Strange in what way?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want to interact with a lot of fully armed people, but they didn't seem very interested to speak. I tried to ask them questions, like I did with you, but they didn't really want to answer, and they seemed like they were in a hurry, and they were all traveling together. That might have been a Triton thing. Did Tritons travel in packs?
Yeah.
Then that was
Depends.
probably a Triton thing. That might have been a Triton.
There are some Tritons that do, and then there's ones like me that basically alone most of the time.
Like a lone wolf, a lone fish.
I've never heard the phrase lone fish, but
Oh,
yeah.
a lone shark.
God damn it. I really wanted to make the joke of, yeah, it's not packs, we call them schools. But I didn't do it. I wasn't gonna do it to you.
No.
And then Soren came in and was like,
No.
fucked it all up.
The way that you should do it is the reason why they don't have crime in Under the Sea is because the gangs will school you.
Oh my God. Stop. Oh, get out.
Education is no problem under the sea. There are so many schools.
School shooting. I mean,
Oh my God.
Oh god.
Remember, we are live on Twitch.
Slash Oh god.
Subscribe if you're interested. We're really funny.
What a shit show.
uh, anyways, um, uh, Bori says, but like I said, it was 25 years ago. I think they were heading east out of Waterdeep, but I couldn't be sure. Maybe down to like Daggerford and then down that road. Why?
Just trying to track some people.
Like a revenge quest.
I look very intently at him. Like, get out of my head, man. Maybe.
Yeah, he like you get the sense like I'm not in your head this time. Like just like gives like a I'm just talking. Um, uh, but shrugs it off. And says, "Well, good luck. It's been a long time since I saw them, but hopefully that would help you. There's also other Tritons who exist in the world, so maybe it was completely unrelated. But I think if you're asking me about them and I met them, then it can't be coincidence."
I like your spirit.
Why, thanks. I try to strive for the truth at all times.
Out of character, you said water deep, right?
Waterdeep.
Okay. Just writing it down.
I also mentioned Daggerford.
Yeah, I got that too.
Okay.
Waterdeep is a very
Um,
famous city.
Yes. A lot of people go through Waterdeep.
Just as a reminder, Lord Neverember is currently Lord Protector of Waterdeep, right?
And Neverwinter.
Yeah.
He is a very powerful man.
Yeah. He owns half of the Sword Coast right now.
Yups. Don't want to mess with Lord Neverember.
Nope.
Would never mess with.
um, yeah. The rest of you in Bori's home. Uh, is there anything in particular you're looking to do while you maybe wait for Z to return, or something else?
I mean, Haskell will basically just listen to the dude's ramblings.
Haskell has been subjected to this twice now.
It's just his thing to do.
Listen to people talk a lot.
He does do it quite frequently.
People can't suspect that you're smart if you just listen and never talk.
Listen, when a lizard does its dumb blink at you, do you think it's smart? No.
It helps that most people assume lizard folk are done by default.
Exactly.
Then yeah, I guess, are you all waiting for Z, or do you plan on leaving and going to the Rose?
I mean, how long is he gonna take?
It's a good question.
I mean, we'll probably wait like an hour and then head to the Rose.
Okay, cool. Cool. Then Eli, you are at the High House of Wonders with the Artificers. Once again, you spent most of your day with Nicole Black and his apprentice Quill, as they try to work on some of your problems. And it's only been 2 days worth of work, but as you are like as Nicole's like closing the last like panels for the day. It's probably like around the same time as the rest of the party is still hanging out with Bori. So around like late-ish, mid-afternoon. It's like closing the last panels and screwing in some last things. Eli feels great. Like, not quite to the same extent as you did when you were living on Mechanus. When you were a perfectly crafted machine with no flaws. But a lot better than the past almost 3 weeks since you crash landed in Greenup. And as Nicole is closing the panels, it kind of gives you like a pat on the chest. You go thunk thunk, and steps back and says, "Well, I think we got a good amount of work done today. Like yesterday, I do have other duties to attend to, so unfortunately, we'll have to stop here. But as always, I am free again tomorrow."
Okay. Thanks, Doc.
No problem. Trying. You guys sent Eli a letter to tell him to meet
While he
up.
was like halfway through.
Yeah.
So by now, he would probably just head back to the Rose.
Okay. Then yeah, you would have gotten this letter at some point. And it said, "We're going to this place. Head back to the Rose if it's really late." And so you do. You say goodbye to Mr. Nicole Black.
And Quill.
And
too, right?
And Quill, yes. She does have a token. I just haven't dropped it because
Fair.
she wasn't as noticeable.
She's an assistant.
She's an assistant. I can't drop it though, just for the sake of seeing what she looks like. But yeah, you leave the Hive House and head back to the outer city, back to the Rose. And when you get there, you open the doors. You see the barmaid. You see some tavern goers. You don't see your party.
Well, they should be here shortly. I'll go stand in a corner and wait. And he does. And he's sort of like, if there's anybody else in there, he sort of walks past them. Whoop, sorry guys, just trying to get out of the way. Get out of the way. And he just walks into the corner and stands there.
Great. As this would probably be Eli's first short rest of the day, since you've been working on stuff.
Yeah.
As you move through the tavern, you get a few looks. This is normal. And you find a corner to stand in. And as you're standing there, give me a perception check.
You got it.
Ouch.
It's a shame I'm facing the wall.
Yeah, you're facing the wall. You're kind of like tuning things out as you do the necessary like mechanisms to create the healing elixirs.
It's kind of just like my kidneys. It just happens.
Yeah, you got some whirring going on up there. You don't notice anything. And I mean, I assume Eli is just gonna stand there until someone gets back.
Sure is. Unless he's given a reason to not. He is going to stand there and wait for his party.
Great. Cool. Z. You do your circles around the city. And with a cleared head, you decide to go to the sea tower of Baldurian, to cross something else off your checklist before maybe diving into this new investigation. It's a pretty impressive landmark. It's a sea fortress. And there are some guards standing by the doors as you. I imagine you land like on the bridge, like not too far outside, so you don't have to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see two guards outside, and they just kind of nod at you and don't bother to stop you. And you let yourself in. And as you walk in, you see it's sort of like a desk area. There's a person like sitting behind a desk. There's some other people further back in this room. It seems like a lot of the first floor of the sea tower is this room. And you see some people doing paperwork. But there's like one person sitting most forward. You can only assume that's who you're supposed to talk to, whoever this secretary or something is.
Yeah, I'm probably approaching, sort of looking around, just making sure that I'm not like cutting in line or anything. And then sort of approach their desk. Hello, excuse me. I have a few questions that I need answers to, and I need to check in if a letter had arrived for the town. We sent it back about 5 days ago about some dangerous people coming this way.
Yeah, you see the person at the desk looks up at you and nods along as you talk. And they say, I can. Ooh, what questions do you have? I can try my best to answer them if there's something wrong.
I need to check in, see if any people matching the description, the descriptions of the people had arrived. Looking for men, women bearing gray cloaks and bearing symbols of Tiamat as of religious paraphernalia and that kind of thing. Don't think they have arrived, but just in case.
Uh-huh. I'm not in charge of that. I can send word to the person who is, and see if they know anything. I don't know if they'll respond immediately. She's a busy woman. Um, as far as a letter goes, was it sent to uh Older Raven Guard himself, or was it sent to our station?
I
Never,
should have.
you know.
Well, I'm actually not sure. Pretty sure it was supposed to arrive to here in Baldur's Gate. It was sent by the mayor of Greenest.
Then yes, it might have gone to Older Raven Guard. If you don't know, he is the the leader of the Wyrmbait. You seem like an outsider.
Yeah, sorry.
Um,
I don't know the ins and outs of the city yet.
no worries. I can look in our records how it might, or I can get someone to look in our records. It might take a little while. You could always come back tomorrow. I could try speaking with
Yeah, if it's
one
all
of
right
my
with you.
higher up.
If you can check on that
Yeah.
for me, I'll come back tomorrow.
Yes, of course.
Just in case, if you want to take down my name, it's Azamet Ellis.
Yeah, she like brings out a piece of paper and does scribble it down and also asks you like where you're staying just in case. I imagine Z has no reason to hide it.
Yeah. I'm staying just out of the northern gate and at the inn, the Rose.
Great. Yeah, if you come back tomorrow, I'll see what I can do.
Um, just one more question. Where would I go about getting a raven sent towards Neverwinter? From this town.
Well, there are a few, like, messenger services in Baldur's Gate that you could pay for and use.
Yeah, just can you point me in the general direction of the closest one?
Yes, of course, and she would give you directions to some, like, Raven messaging service.
Yeah. Right. Thank you. I'll be out of your hair now. Again, thank you for your help.
No worries. Have a nice day.
Likewise. Eli, Z will sort of. I'm sort of like sprint walking, like power walking out of the place. Take off, fly to the closest place, and I'm sort of quickly gonna ride up. Hey, hey, mom and dad. I hope that you're doing all right. Just let me know if anything's happened or anything's out of the ordinary. Just a little bit concerned. Love Z, and just like have that be sent to the Gorgonstale in Neverwinter.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to do. I'll get you a price at some point. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'll figure it out. Ooh, do you specify where to contact you at?
That's a good point. Probably, yeah, I'll probably include staying at the Rose Inn for the next. Well, I would say like up until this date, because I don't know what date it is, but it would be like another 6 days from now.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, you write up this letter. After the 30 minutes, I mean, it doesn't take that long. Where's your next destination?
Flying straight back to the wizard's house. Because I knew that Elaine and company were going to be coming back.
Yeah, cool. Galena and company. You're probably with Bori or probably only like 20 minutes, half hour, until there's a knock at the door. And this entire time, he's probably been trying to like explain some of the stuff on his board, and talking to you, just general inquiries about your lives. And as there's a knock on the door, he gets up, dismisses himself. As he's walking down the hallway, everyone in Z you will hear from outside. Who is it?
Azamet.
The footsteps speed up a little, and you hear the chick 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 of the door unlocking. And he opens the door for you, and he says, "Now I don't know where you went, but your friends don't seem to think you would have gone to talk to that man."
No, I went to do a little bit of a twirl in the air, stretch the wings.
I see. You have a strange group of people with you. As you like step in, he closes the door, and relocks it, and leads the way back down the hall. Like, they're in the room. And as you step in, you see Alba and Gira up by like all your additions to the board. Haskell and Galene are here too. No sign of Eli.
Oh, sorry about the mess, guys. I forgot to put labels on the strings.
Honestly, me and Elba figured it out pretty well. Elba definitely caught onto it almost immediately. So
Well, sort of pretty self-apparent, but labeling doesn't hurt. Right. I was thinking about visiting this man over here in this clipping. Uh, he's been holed up and well, sounds like he might have some interesting visions that I would like to ask them about. Just in case, I was mostly waiting for you guys to finish what you guys were doing so we can all go together.
gotcha. Yeah, we talked to Fox Traveler and got all the information we could, and then I didn't see any reason to obstruct any more of his business, so we left. Also, made sure that he understood that if he says that we were there, that he will likely die for it.
Okay. Extreme, but okay.
Also, this is said away from the wizard.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask him to leave, he'll leave. Like, it's understanding.
I wasn't saying that we were going to. I'm saying that if he were to tell the cult that he had given up information about the cult, I would assume that the cult would then immediately kill him.
Yeah. No, I assumed that was what you were referring to. I wouldn't like Z sort of squinting at Gear. You wouldn't murder someone just for the sake of keeping our knowledge hidden, would you?
Probably not.
Probably is not very reassuring, but doesn't matter right now. As long as you don't kill anyone for that kind of try not to kill anyone unless they're trying to kill us.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to work in absolutes. So, I mean, there may come a time where, under a certain set of circumstances, I would find it acceptable, but it's unlikely that I would ever find that acceptable.
Okay. Right. I am gonna keep helping Ori with this investigation. I feel like it might be somehow related to your own investigation. Only at least via this person, this patriarch. I would appreciate it if everyone joined me. But it's not really need to be all together for.
Honestly, I feel like we don't have anything else. We got 5 days until the cult should be getting here, so
All right.
gives us something to do.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't speak for everybody on this, so if there's any objections, but
Alba?
It might be useful, I suppose, and it's better than sitting around on our ass.
Well, let's go fetch Galeen, Skeld, and we're gonna have to. Yeah. Let's just leave Eli out of this one. I don't think having a Warforged with us, especially not Eli, or talk to someone, might be a little bit of a delicate situation.
yeah,
Honestly.
I mean, he seems pretty busy. I sent word that we would be here, but we've been here for about an hour now, and he hasn't shown up, so I assume that he is dedicated to helping out the engineers. So,
right. Let's go fetch Galeen and Haskell then.
Sure.
I assume you're just in a different room, right?
Yeah, we're go fetch them. It's just like, I mean, go across the room, grab them, and get going, sort of thing.
Do we have a location of which to go to?
Yeah, it's this. I I think the address for the patriarch was included in the
Yes.
clipping. Yeah, right here.
All right, sounds good. I was just giving the information. I figure you had a good handle on it already, so there was. any-
Just it doesn't hurt for everyone to know it though.
Mhm.
All right. Let's get going. Hey, Ghislaine, let's go.
Yes.
We're gonna be heading out. If you want to join us for some chatting with a local nobleman, might be related to what
Alright.
we're investigating.
Cool.
Corey?
Sure.
I'll
Hmm.
catch you later.
Yes, I sure hope so. You are an interesting group of people.
Say that again.
Yeah. You, 1 second. So you guys are leaving Eli at the roast and going up to the upper district to try and speak with this nobleman.
Yep.
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 Cool. Cool. Then yeah, you did get an address. Let me flip back to my thing. Yeah, you did get an address. He lives in the upper city part of Baldur's Gate, as many patriarchs, most patriarchs do. Which means it's another trip all the way across Baldur's Gate.
The third time
My
today.
legs are gonna fall off, man.
I've never used my legs for this long in one day.
Sounds like a typical guard.
I've never used my legs this long in my life.
Yeah, you guys have to go even further. Because before you were in the Wide, which is this area, the shopping district. But to get to this guy's house, you gotta go all the way up here and then down to this part of the city. And
3 mile walk.
You know what would be easier?
Flying.
If I walked across and then swam across and then walked across.
Honestly, I could
Meet
just
you there.
I could fly straight there. Yeah.
Is
Poor
is
dear.
the sky above Baldur's Gate a no-fly zone, or is he allowed to just fly?
I
'Cause he
imagine.
could.
I imagine crossing over the walls is not permitted, but flying within the area without crossing over might be
Fair.
Yeah, probably.
That's something we should ask the guard.
okay.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing to ask.
There's been reports of you flying around, and like guards have been trying to chase you down. and things like that.
I walked into the police precinct. Nobody stopped me. I walked out. Went flying again. Wait, it was that guy. Catch him.
You leave like, oh wait, that's the guy.
It's a wanted criminal. I mean, yeah, you guys can make it across to that part of the city however you want. It is just for reference. Like 3 in the afternoon. The walk will probably take. It's a 3-mile walk. I don't
It's
know
a
the
mile and a
distance.
half. I think my math wrong. It's like 6,000 feet, right? So
A 1.5-mile walk.
yeah,
Take like
An hour.
an hour.
45 minutes to an hour probably in the city.
Is it frowned upon to swim in the little bay area?
most likely because there's probably ships
Yeah,
going through there.
I would assume.
A lot of ships.
At that point, it would just
Oh.
basically be like, is it okay to walk through like a four-way intersection?
Yeah.
What?
The harbor of Baldur's Gate is like
Harbor,
the
thank
biggest
you. I was like, what's
harbor.
the name of that?
Yeah, the
like,
biggest
bay.
harbor on this part of the Sword Coast.
People will probably not even notice you, and you end up as chum underneath the ship.
If it's a mile and a half, me crossing isn't gonna take that long, so I could do it pretty leisurely.
Just don't get hit by boats.
No promises.
I mean, it depends on how deep it is, because if you can go under all of the boats,
True.
I don't know
that,
how
that's
deep
like a
harbor
jaywalking clause. It's like jaywalk at your own discretion.
Right.
You know, like, cause like, yeah, it's safe if there are no cars, but like, accidents happen.
I mean,
Do
there's
we-
also the question of how clean that water is.
Probably
Yeah,
not
it's-
very much.
Oh, right.
Gross city water.
Because
Uh,
this,
if you-
this is a major city, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to.
If you swap the back to the main lobby, you can see the color of the water in the image.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Because those.
Boston Tea Party kind of
Oh no.
Yeah.
Here.
Please.
Here you go.
Ooh.
It's
Nice.
that sort of like, it's not brown at the very least. It's that, but you can see the like, it's somewhat muddy greenish.
probably wouldn't feel good to breathe.
No.
You're gonna clog your gills, girl.
Yeah, I will pass. But next chance I get that I get to swim, I'm taking it because this land business is a joke.
Yeah. I can't find an exact how deep the Great Harbor is, but the harbor does feature over a dozen piers and 76 mechanical cranes.
Whoa.
What the heck?
Yeah,
Damn.
they got artificers in this city.
All right.
Also, I don't think you have to worry about being turned into chum just because most ships don't have motors. So,
No, but
Yeah.
you could still get hit pretty badly.
I mean, yeah, you get knocked the fuck out for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you can whatever way you choose to make your way across Baldur's Gate. As Galeen like walks up towards the docks, peers into the water, and goes, "I'll pass." You all eventually make your way up to the upper city portion of Baldur's Gate.
God damn it, Eli.
To the upper city portion of Baldur's Gate, and to the address that wasn't in like the news clipping, but was written down like by hand by Bori. And you see this this manor. It's impressive. It's very similar to a lot of the other ones in this area. And you see standing like out front are two guards. They don't look like they're wearing uniforms, which Gira would know just like without any checks. The watch does wear uniforms, so there's a chance these are lower city guards or they were hired by this man. But this is what you see.
Well, I'm gonna go the polite way and approach the guards. Good afternoon. We were looking to have a word with the Lord of the Manor. I know that it's complicated and that they're trying not to talk to people, but regarding their hallucinations, if you could get word to them at the very least.
The two guards like glance at each other as all of you walk forward. And they look back at you, and one of them says, it's not accepting visitors right now. I mean, I can try, but I don't think you'll get a much better answer than that.
Yeah, if you could just tell him that a tiefling having a similar problem is looking to talk to him, that'd be enough.
Yeah. He like the exchanges another look with the other guard, and looks at you, and then looks back at your party, and says, just you, or it
My
seems like you have company.
well, my companions are here just to keep me company, essentially. But the one that needs to talk to the Lord is just myself.
Right. Sure, I'll try. And they open the door, and you briefly see a glimpse at like the inside of the manor before he closes it behind him. And you're left with the other guard, who kind of just stands there and kicks a pebble.
I like to imagine it's like the one guard left in there, surrounded by heavily armed and magical adventurers. Like, we could break in if we wanted to.
Hey, what are you doing? Don't hit that save button. I swear to God.
Quick save. Let's go.
Too late.
um,
You're doing something stupid. You need a hard save.
Hell yeah, man. You know it.
and a few minutes pass. All of you are standing outside the manor. And eventually the door opens again. And you see the person step back out. And he looks at you, Z, and he says, I can't let you in.
Did you just were you just told straight out no, or is there?
The Lord is currently resting. I didn't want to wake him. He doesn't sleep very often nowadays.
Oh, right. Well, in that case, I suppose I could wait around until he wakes up. What you reckon? Midnight? Somewhere around that time?
They like exchange glances and then look back at you and say, sure. Do you want to come back at midnight? I suppose I can't stop you. But I can't guarantee a yes either.
No, but I'm a very patient man, and honestly, this is quite important. In fact, I might sit around and wait until the time. If you don't mind me taking a seat somewhere around here. Not that you can stop me.
Look at each other, and you get the sense it's like, how is this? What's up with this guy? And they look back at you and say, I mean, sure. Don't get mad at me if some other patriarch kicks you off their property, though.
That's quite alright. Right. Thank you for your assistance. I suppose I'll see you soon enough. Maybe you're somebody who comes to replace you, likely, but have a good day.
Same with you, sir.
And I'll turn back to the guys and sort of gesture for us to walk a little bit. Alright, so not sure if what he was saying was entirely the truth, or the Lord was really resting, or if guards themselves don't want us to meet the Lord. You guys, what do you reckon?
If you want, we wait till nighttime and I can slip in.
I would rather we give
That's
it
a fun idea.
Take a look at the window, see if
Yeah,
they're sleeping.
before we do that, I would like to give it an honest second by talking to the guards. But after that, if don't get a proper response, suppose we could.
Just a quick double check. I don't recognize this house, do I? I haven't been here before.
No.
All right, good.
Nope. Not that house.
I suppose we were
So
waiting
when were you
until.
planning on speaking to this guy again?
Well, according to them, he just fell asleep, so somewhere close to midnight, since it's early afternoon. I suppose
I see.
another between 4 and 6 hours. Well, that would put us around 9, 10 p.m. We can have dinner and come back here afterward.
So I hope you don't expect us to wait around here all evening.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Right. Well, let's head back to the end then. I suppose we can take a moment
Do you
to.
want to find it in town so we don't have to?
We
leave
could
the town?
always threaten them.
No, Galeen, they are nobles. We threaten
Well, the
their
guards
manor,
aren't.
and well, the guards aren't, but they are under the protection of a lord. Threatening them would give us.
Also,
lot
pretty
more.
sure it's the other way around. I'm pretty sure the Lord is under the protection of the guards.
Legally speaking, a guard is under the jurisdiction and protection of a lord. Meaning, if you assault a guard of a noble family, it is considered an act of aggression against the noble family itself. Especially if they're working. But in character, right? Yeah, we can. Let's find a place inside the city. I'd rather not have to walk all the way around again. Their time.
That would be
I
fantastic.
don't know, Z. When you say noble, all I hear is pansy. It's basically the same thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Sometimes, yes, but not always. Gillian, not always.
From my experience, it is.
It's the rule, but there are exceptions.
Yeah. There's the exception that proves the rule correct. Let's head over to the lower city. It'll be a shorter trip. I'm sure.
I like shorter trip.
There's probably going to
If
be.
you say so.
We'll probably be able to find some place to stay in a sailor's inn or tavern. At least somewhere we can have a drink and relax for a moment while we wait. And I'm essentially suggesting we do this
Sounds good.
and look back around it.
Give me 1 second.
So I understand what you're saying, but you really want to leave the upper city to go to the lower city when we could just have nice food from here
I mean,
rather than whatever the fuck they sell down there.
I mean, you want to try and get inside one of the high ritzy.
I mean, it doesn't need to be ritzy.
Alright, I mean, Alba, you seem to know this place better than me, so.
Alba, I didn't know you were bougie.
I've never been to this city. I'm
uh,
just saying,
Would I
you
know
want to go to
of,
some random sailor bar when we could go and look for somewhere nice that's closer.
Look.
Would I know of any high-end taverns or taverns in this area?
In the upper city? For sure. You could go to the Wide, which is a marketplace and plaza where they probably have people selling food. Or if you wanted there are two notable ones in the upper city. The first one being the Three Old Kegs, which is considered one of the finest inns in all of Faerun. And there's one called the Helm and Cloak, which is less popular but still upscale, traditional, located in like the middle of the upper city, like somewhere in this area.
Do you guys want an inn? There's a marketplace nearby. We probably can find some food, or we can go to an actual fancy inn and get some food. Up to you guys.
Fine, if like, sure. Let's just check out one of those finer places. Let's go to a tavern. You don't really need to stay the night here. Oh,
Yeah.
we could.
We'll
If
probably
you...
just find a table in a corner and just chill
Yeah.
until we have to.
Now let's do that.
Come Alright. Man, I guess we go.
I mean, lead the way.
Probably not the fanciest one, but the one like the other one.
Yeah. Deciding to pass on the extremely fancy inn. Do you make your ways to the Helm and Cloak, which is as you get there, you see it's pretty busy. Like opening the doors, it's a very it's a very nice building. It's actually two buildings, and
Is one of them called the Helm, and the other building is called the Cloak?
yes.
How would you point out we're like next door to where Eli is currently?
Yes, if Eli hadn't left, you would be next door to where he was. But yes, as you step in, you see a lot of the people here seem to be wealthy folk, like wearing very nice clothes, and sitting together and talking. And there's probably a free corner table you could find, and eventually you'd be able to order food. And like imagine very fancy fantasy food. The line I'm looking at says dishes such as candied meats, jellied eels, fresh fish in hot lemon sauce, and glazed and stuffed fowl with fried onion and spiced tubers stuffing were representative of the menu at large.
So
Whoa.
things like carpaccio and
Whoa.
wait,
Very nice place.
yeah, it's like a mixed. Two of the dishes were like carpaccio and like sushi, like sashimi. No, not sashimi. Yeah, sashimi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sashimi. Or as we like to call it back home, fish.
Raw fish.
Just fish, because who cooks? What the heck?
Kind of difficult to cook something underwater.
Actually, you know, I imagine the Tridents might have like delicate cuisine, which is like grab actual foods and cook them in like thermal spouts, right? Like the vents of a volcano underwater.
Yep.
Everything's just either raw or boiled. There's nothing in between.
Delicious.
I mean,
Don't
with
laugh.
magic.
True.
I mean, I suppose anything you do is going to just end up boiling it, really.
Yeah.
It's very fast boiling.
Very fast.
But as you order food, all food here costs 10 gold pieces each. It is very high end.
Jesus Christ.
How much a piece did you say?
10 gold a head.
Gee.
Welp. Are Probably as we're looking through the menu. So he goes like, yeah, so as I was saying, we could have eaten about like 20 times as much and spent a couple nights somewhere else. But while we're here, let's enjoy it.
Yeah, this is a bit more high end than I was thinking, I'll be honest. But we're here now, so
This isn't even the
We
home
out here.
place. I went with the cheaper option here.
Oh,
I mean, surely there's more than two.
Up here, I don't think there's much else, honestly. I mean, I would have, like, yeah, I honestly, I agree with Z with going into the lower city. We don't have to go to the docks, which is where like the super low end stuff is, but
You'd be surprised. My folk run a tavern near the docks. It's a pretty nice place. You get the freshest fish.
why don't we just go there and eat then?
No, back at Neverwinter, not here.
Oh, sorry, the wizards got me confused with where your family lives.
Don't worry about it.
But yeah, you guys have a nice night. It's a nice establishment. For how much you're paying, it better be. But yeah.
We are
You have
all
a nice night, you
severely
order-
underdressed for it. But yes.
Yes.
What the hell
You get-
disguise is for?
Except for Alba. You're getting some like wealthy nobleman snooty looks.
Yep. Sounds
A,
about right.
a bunch of adventurers in their tavern? No. How
But like I
dare
totally got my hair.
you. But yeah. Eli, you are still at the Rose. You don't have to eat. I don't know if Eli has plans to do anything else while you continue to wait.
He has a vague sense of time because, I mean, on Mechanus, obviously there are clocks because it's like
Yeah.
it's steampunk. They got gears and shit.
For sure.
But like, he doesn't have one installed, and like
Uh-huh.
he doesn't. There's not really a sun from where he comes from. It's just everything's lit up because
Mhm.
electricity and lights are a thing. I don't know. He doesn't really get it. So he's just kind of doing his thing, vibing. You know, periodically he'll dump out a healing elixir and like replace an old one by like doing a shot of the old one to get rid of it, and then a new one gets
Uh-huh.
pumped out, kind of thing. And then he just like you just like hear the whirring of the coffee machine in his chest, and then you hear the clattering of some glasses. He puts a couple of them like in a locked space, closes his
Uh-huh.
chest up, and then just continues to stand.
Uh-huh.
So
Poor Eli.
what you're telling me is in this long wait, Eli has become a liquid hourglass.
Yes, but he still can't tell time.
Poor Eli. Left behind at the Rose. Abandoned.
He doesn't know he's been left behind.
He doesn't know he's been left
No.
behind.
He's like, yep, no, they're probably just taking a little bit longer than I would have originally thought.
I did
Then-
assume we'd be back at some point.
I mean, if you go to this dude's house at like midnight, the bar will still be open. So like he'll still be standing there because it'll only be midnight. They don't close till like 2. So yeah, you'll meet him there eventually, I'd imagine.
Then yeah, the rest of the party, you have dinner. It was pretty early when you went out for dinner, so you probably have a few hours to kill to when Z said he would return. I don't know what exactly the plan is, but it's probably like 7, 8 by the time you're out of there.
Hmm.
I say we just eat real slow and just chill at the table until we should be heading back to the manor.
Mhm.
I'm sure we can order some drinks after dessert drinks.
Mhm.
That's the spirit.
I'm not ordering anything for a 10 gold piece meal, thank you.
Yo, it is expensive. Um, depends what you're looking for drinks, but wine is 3 gold.
Jesus.
You can get a room for 25 gold pieces a night.
The ratio's about right. You buy like $100 meal, a glass of wine is $30. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Buying the bottle is
I think
like
the quality of the
500.
food is the same as the wine. You know what? Like they're both like really good. You know.
Mhm.
The bottle of wine is probably like 200. But like 20 gold pieces.
Oh, probably.
We are.
A huge wine was 3 gold per the glass. It says it.
Well,
What
usually
the
a bottle
hell?
9 bottle
has
is 10.
a
What?
bottle usually has between 5 and 6 glasses. Depends on the if it's a large bottle or a regular bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Uh huh. So like 15 gold pieces.
Probably, yeah. you,
There goes my money.
you cry about that, but you fail to realize I paid for a vanishment spell earlier.
For like
Um,
300 or something
No, it was like
stupid.
150 gold, yeah. I'll buy a bottle of wine for everyone. Okay. Go.
Mhm.
Soren, for some reason, I read, does Galeen drink fish? Not drink like, drink fish. Yes, she slurps
Congratulations,
a lot.
Heidi. Congratulations, Heidi. You have met my expectations.
Hmm.
um. Cool. Yeah, you buy a bottle of wine, and you share it amongst your party. Um, did I didn't. Shit. Okay. I'll just do this right now. Yeah, you buy a bottle of wine, you share it amongst your party. Eventually, enough time passes that it's around the time that Z, you said you would go back to the manor.
Okay. Oh, the tab's paid. We're done with the food and the drinks, so let's get going, guys.
Um,
Okay.
cool. Um,
Once we get there, I'll sort of cheerfully wave at the two guards, hoping that it's the same guys. But if it's not, it's gonna be such a letdown.
it is one of the same guys, not the one who was talking to you, but one of them, who sees you. Is the quiet one who kind of just like stood there awkwardly while his friend went inside, and notices you as you wave enthusiastically, and kind of like you see they like lean over to the other guard who's standing with them and kind of like nudges them. They look up from like looking in a different direction towards you guys, and you're free to approach.
Yeah. Hey, I told you I was gonna be back. Hopefully, your new companion is a little bit more agreeable than the last one. Really did want to help me out.
Are you talking about the other guard? I mean, he was asleep.
No, I meant it's a joke. He was in a little bit of a foul mood.
This guy like gives you a look, and then looked at you again and says, and it's again, is it just you planning to go inside, or?
I'll sort of turn to my party. I mean, does anyone else need to talk to the Lord? Otherwise, I think it's gonna be me, just to make it intrusive on the Lord.
Sounds okay.
Sure.
There you have it. It's gonna be me for the time being.
Cool. I'll be back then, I suppose. I can't imagine he's still asleep. So I'll go ask and see if he's willing to have a little
Thank you very much.
And yeah, they open the door again. Open the door again, glance back at you one more time, lean over to whisper something to the other person who's standing there before stepping in and closing the door behind them.
Could I get
And
what they said?
once again, give me a perception check.
My guess is
If you could read it.
keep an eye on
That'd
these
be great.
guys.
What'd you get?
21.
Yeah, Garrett, you maybe had a little less to drink than Z.
Oh, he wouldn't drink at all.
Yeah, you did not drink.
Boring.
And there it is. Yeah, as you're standing behind Z with the rest of your party, you get the sense it's like what Bosun said. You mostly read their lips, and you catch like like keep keep an eye on them. Let's try not to make too much trouble.
How well lit is it out here?
It's pretty well lit. This is a nice part of the city. There are like torches and scones in front of the house. They can see you.
Alright. There's any shadow like pretty close to the party that I could like go in and out of very easily?
I mean, you all are standing directly in front of a manor. If you left the party a little and found like the alleyway nearby, then sure, but not like a few steps away that would be conspicuous.
He just wanted to have a little fun. Just like take a step out of like the party's torchlight and then like walk around and then appear on the other side of the party. But it's fine. I just stand there. Is the like the lawn very well lit, or is it just like the path to the manor and like the manor itself?
There isn't really a lawn. It's sort of in the still somewhat tight city streets of Baldur's Gate.
Nice.
You got like this manor and then an alleyway on either side and then another one.
Gotcha. I wasn't sure how rich these people actually were.
Yeah. Not rich enough to have a lawn in a city.
It sounds like downtown London rich, which means no lawns, because those houses be old.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Basically. But yeah, you wait a few minutes. And eventually, the guard comes back, steps out, but holds like the door open a little, and looks at you, Z, and says, "You can come in, but we're going to make this quick."
All right, thank you. And I'll sort of hurry my step as I'm going in.
Yeah. And the rest of the party, you see the guard let Z in and then closes the door behind him. Z,
Yes.
can you give me a perception check? Pretty, please.
How about this? Natural 20. Let's go.
You see
Yay.
everything. Yeah,
I
Z, you're
gain
being led
awareness.
to this.
Sorry, what were you saying?
What-
I was gonna
hell
make a
did
joke.
you
I
do?
gain awareness that I'm a character being controlled by someone else. But,
Z has an existential crisis in
uh-huh.
the middle of this nobleman's manor. But yeah, as you're walking through this house, I don't know how many the big fancy houses Z has been in. Probably one or two, just from working as a guard.
Yep.
At the very least. Jesus. I hate it when things reload, and I have to wait for Google Drive to reload. Especially when I have like 6 docs open. Where'd it
You
go?
fool. You keep your notes on Google Drive. I keep all my notes on Discord.
That sounds like hell.
It absolutely is.
And I'm
Um,
over here living the notepad life.
You guys take notes?
Right?
That makes sense.
The meme. Hang on. Incoming.
but yeah, as you
Beat you to it. I'm gonna beat you to it.
are
Don't even.
led through
Try.
this huge home,
Mhm.
it's obvious that he's a patriarch and this is his big fancy manor. But most curiously, and that most houses don't have. So as you like walk through the main entryway and up the stairs, your heels are clicking on like the shiny fancy floors. There are a lot of like drawers and bookshelves and cabinets that have been like opened and emptied. And the guard doesn't seem to take notice of this. As they lead you up a set of stairs, and as you get to the second floor, this trend continues as you pass by just like side tables, and you can see like the drawer in the side table is a little open and completely empty inside. And reaches a pair of doors to stop in front of. Glances back at you to make sure you've been following this entire time.
I'm probably like giving him a side glance because I'm looking over my shoulder, sort of looking back towards the well, the open cupboards and whatnot that we've gone past while we were walking. And turn to him. Sorry. Just before we go in, something happened inside the house. It's every single door open.
No, some part of these dreams he claims to be having, has made him go a little, nuts. And I don't know what he's doing with it all, but a lot of his stuff has been disappearing.
Got it. Okay. Right. I'm ready to go in.
And they nod, and knock on the door a few times, you don't get an answer, but they open it anyways. Into what seems to be the master bedroom, and like gestures for you to step in. And it's impressive, dimly lit but impressive. And first you see a man, blonde and looking like he hasn't slept in days, sitting at like the end of this bed, this huge bed, and just kind of like looking up at the ceiling. Is that me? No, that was not me.
Dale's struggling.
Oh,
Yeah,
His
computer
computer,
shut down.
yeah,
so
his
he'll
computer
be
hates
back.
him.
okay. And you see in this room, much like in the hallways, drawers are open, the top of the vanity is cleared, the wardrobe's open, and it's like almost looks like if you were moving, if not like for the fact that everything else is still perfectly intact. And the guard once again just shrugs a little, gestures for you to step in.
Thank you. And I'll walk in.
As you walk in, it's a little dark in this room, but your dark vision combats it. And as you step in, the man doesn't seem to acknowledge you.
Out of character question. This is Lord Staunton, right? Or
Yes.
okay. And he's his wife and father? Or father-in-law?
Father. To double check.
Okay, I just wanted to get my information straight. Right.
Uh-huh.
Good evening, Lord Staunton. I wanted to have a quick word with you. That's all right.
Yeah. As you start speaking, he turns his head, and notices you, and nods, and he says, I don't know what you want from me, but I hope it's not more of the same shit that everyone else has been sending me.
I'm not sure what others have been giving you, but just here to ask you a couple of questions, and we'll get your opinion on something. Somebody asked me to help them and help you investigate the recent deaths in your family, ones that have been left suspiciously unattended to. And I thought it would be but important that I also talk to you directly, not just for the investigation, but I learned, because I've been told that you have been having some peculiar dreams and visions.
Yeah, Lord Staunton, looks away from you, and just almost like, he's like zoning out, but nods along as you talk, and he says, uh, yes, I am being haunted.
Could you give me a little bit more detail on it? How does it manifest?
It like glances at you, and narrows his eyes. 1 second. Like narrows his eyes for a moment, before looking back away, and she says, "It started just a few days after my family members died. It was them. And then later on, it was a lot of fire and burning down my house. And then it turned into dragons in my dreams and in the waking world.
Has it always been fire every time?
Yes, I believe so.
That regard then. Right. These these ghosts, these dragons that you've been seeing. Do you see them often, or is it that they haunt you when you try to do something in particular, or when you're trying to rest?
Well, they are always in my dreams. Always. But when I'm not asleep, or when I believe I'm not asleep, it's every few nights. I'm in my room, and then suddenly it starts, and it stops. And then I don't sleep.
Every few nights. How often? Say this has been happening to you. Once a week?
How every it's gotten more insistent as time goes on. The last time it happened was maybe 3 days ago.
Sorry if this is causing you any stress, but trying to see if I can piece things together and help you. Do you recall if anything, any possession, if the possessions of your recently deceased family members were transferred specifically to your abode, or someone that might have kept resentments against them might now harbor them towards you? Just considering the source, what the source of your haunting might be. That's alright.
Out of character, I'm lost.
So at this point, Z is trying to see if it's a matter of somebody's actually targeting him, or like maybe there's somebody from that is an actual unrelated enemy to the family, or maybe it's a member of the cult that for some reason wants to drive this person insane, or if there's like a cursed item that was passed along when first from his wife and then to his father, or vice versa, and then ended up in his possession. Is essentially what I'm going for.
Any hand-me-downs or enemies?
Yeah,
that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. Any strange changes in family retinue?
He like looks down on the at the floor. and says, I mean, like any patriarch, we had our fair share of people who didn't agree with us, but nobody who would do this, I don't think. And no, I mean, I got some of my father's possessions. And you see its like eyes wander towards like one of the open like cabinets or drawers. One says, I got some of my father's possessions when he died. And my wife lived here, so I had her possessions. But I do not know if there's anything in particular that is especially important.
I was considering more so as something that was either haunted or coveted by someone or something. Did you mind if I take a quick look?
Around my home.
Around the possessions that might have been passed along towards you.
I suppose so. I do not know. I'm being haunted by them. I don't know if that's their own souls could have possessed something that quickly. I suppose I don't really know how this works, but if you do, then I suppose there's not much of it left.
I only have very passing knowledge of it, but any kind of information that I can gather will help me find a clue to follow.
Excuse
Bless you.
Thanks. But yeah, he nods, and probably stands, and makes his way like over towards the vanity, and he says, I do have a lot of my wife's things. I do not know what importance it needs to be. I have I have her wedding ring here, or and he like reaches into one of the clothes drawers, and pulls out a box, and, like looks at you a little like hopelessly, like not looks like he doesn't quite know what to look for to give to you.
Yeah. We'll go through the things one at a time. I'm sure we can find something that might clue me in. If not, at least you'll have the certainty, or at least a little bit more of a peace of mind that none of this is alien. And I'll, at that point, sort of extend a hand to see if they'll hand over the box so that I can check it.
Yeah, he does. He hands it over gently.
And this is the moment where I realize that I don't actually have detect magic. Though I don't think detect magic would work in this case. I mean, I'm gonna go through all the stuff that he might let me go through essentially. I'm looking for right now any kind of relation to like maybe there's like a pin for a lapel that might be shaped like something that the cultists had, that kind of thing, or maybe like something that doesn't fit with the rest.
Um, i- if you're just looking for something strange, give me either perception or investigation check.
Investigation.
I figured.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you, Lord Staunton, uh, seems a little, like, as time goes on, seems a little uncomfortable as you continue going through his things, but doesn't stop you, and kind of, like, points you in the direction of, like, where maybe stuff is. Um, but as you look through all the stuff, you don't find anything that's, like, dragon marked or, um, like, no pins. There's nothing here that screams the Call of the Dragon, at least.
Well, not necessarily the Cult of the Dragon, but like maybe something that's rather out of place, like
Mm-hmm.
trying to think, like a hidden notebook instead of a pocket, or that kind of thing, like maybe something that was never meant to be found by someone else, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well. Yeah, as you go through, like, clothes, and through drawers, once again, a lot of them seem to be sort of empty. And with that investigation check, and as you look more thoroughly, they're not, like, completely empty, but it seems like what is gone is stuff of fairly low, or what not gone is stuff that seems to be of fairly low worth. Um, and But I mean, as you look through things, you don't find any strange notes. You don't find notebooks in pockets. You seem to come up empty.
Lord Sultan, just a quick question. I did ask one of the guards, one of your guards, while I was being escorted. They told me you've been gathering a lot of things from these drawers and wardrobes along the house. I didn't really see a huge collection of those items inside of your room. Where exactly have you been putting everything?
As you ask this, you see, let me double check. Fuck. You see, he looks a little scared as you ask this question. Um, and, like, looks away from you. And she says, I have just been, uh, I have just been rearranging things. It helps keep me safe.
I understand that you need some safe spot, but that doesn't really answer my question, Lord Staunton. Have you been hoarding all the items of value in the house in one place?
He, like, looks at you, uh, furrows his eyebrows a little, says, no, I haven't. I don't see why I would need to do that. Some matriarchs have a vault, which is normal.
Yeah, I suppose. As I sort of look back towards the drawers, back towards him. Do most patriarchs also completely empty their wardrobes and houses of all valuables?
You see, he starts to look a little irritated, but says, uh, most, maybe not, but I don't see why it's a problem that I do. This is
don't
not
mean
easy.
I don't mean any offense by that. Simply that well, given the nature of your hunting and the things you've been seeing, Lord, it does strike me as rather odd that you would be about taking mannerisms of the one thing that you seem to be haunted by.
Give me a
Sense
persuasion
motive?
check.
Okay.
You
Persuasion.
can also give me an insight check if you want.
Yes,
That's
I'll
up to
give you.
you.
I'll give you both. Oof.
Yikes.
Perfectly average, I suppose.
Perfectly average. Yes, you speak to him. He glances away again. And with that, a little better than average insight check. He looks conflicted. But kind of just like seems to like shrug it off. And looks back at you. And says, well, I suppose you are right. It is coincidental.
So, you have been hoarding items.
No, but the fact that it might look like I do
Right.
might be coincidental.
Right. Well, in that case, I, the only other thing that remains to be seen is the vault itself. I suppose if you don't think you would be comfortable showing it to me.
No.
Imagine. I'm a bit stumped here. I have gained quite a bit of information. I appreciate your willingness to submit yourself to so many questions, such uncomfortable situations. If it's all right with you, I'd like to discuss this with someone else, my companions who are quite capable. Might be able to. We might be able to find out something.
He nods, and says, I suppose that is alright. I just prefer people stop making this as public as it has been. So if you could avoid that, Mr.
Azimuth. Azimuth Edith.
Azimuth. If you could avoid that, then I suppose it would be alright.
Right. I'll keep any findings to myself, and I'll try to keep my companions from spreading any word.
Thank you. It is late, so it might be best you get going.
Yes, I'll leave you to yourself, and I'll return as soon as I have any theories that might help you.
And he
Excuse me.
nods, and like closes the drawer you were like
Yeah.
looking through, and goes back towards the bed, and just like stands by the bed as you, I assume, see yourself out in the bedroom.
Yep.
And waiting outside still, is that guard from earlier who looks at you, and kind of like raises their eyebrows, like as if they're trying to say, "I told you what you wouldn't get much," but don't say it, and instead say, "You good to go?"
Yeah. do you mind if we take a slow pace going out? I'd like to just take in just in case there's something that I missed on the way in.
They just nod and look a little confused by you in general, maybe.
Yep.
But open the door and start leading the way back downstairs. I assume you're maybe looking to make a second perception check?
No. Well, I'll do another perception check. But this time it's mostly just like making sure that what I saw inside of the room sort of matches with the rest of the house. Like, as I was walking in, I did notice that a lot of the wardrobes and the cupboards and whatever were open. Just trying to see if now that I know what's a little bit more of what's been happening, if that sort of also spreads throughout the rest of the house. Like candelabra have gone missing. There's no like candlestick holders. Maybe the silverware is not set on the table. That kind of thing.
Yeah. I won't make you make a second perception check for this then. As you look around, it seems to be less drastic than in the bedroom, but there's definitely things missing here. Like you said, like there's no silverware on that table. Or just some places seem to be devoid of decorations in comparison to others. But,
all right. Okay. Well, nope. That's about that's in line with what I thought might have been happening. All right. Well, just head on out with the guard and group up with the party.
Yeah. You're let out. They let you walk first out the door and close it behind them. And the rest of the party, you've been hanging out, maybe a little awkwardly, in front of this house. And you see Z, step out of the manor and approach.
Alright. Let's go a little bit ways away from this and make sure that no one can overhear. Are we, guys?
Sure.
Oh.
Right. Do need second opinion on all of this. And it's very strange. I feel like I don't know. I want to. Something doesn't sit right with me. It's it doesn't quite just look like madness. It does look. Too many things sort of fit together. Seems like they've been having dreams and delusions of dragons hunting them, but they have most unconsciously been hoarding all of the valuable items in their house and hiding them away. And probably their vault, from what they were saying. But you know what I mean? Could just be madness. I know. It's an awful coincidence that it would happen so soon, so close in time to when, you know, our other guests are coming to town.
Agreed. I don't think that talk of dragons so readily as the group is ascending. Just feels too coincidental to actually be a coincidence.
Out of character, Ollie.
Hmm.
How well lit was the house indoors?
I mean, generally speaking, it was lit up enough for people without dark vision to make their way through. there was only one person like living in there at the moment,
So,
or
like,
at least as far as it seemed.
mhm.
So some like hallways just like weren't lit up, and his bedroom only had like a few candles and it was pretty dimly lit.
Okay. So most likely, like the guard had to light up a candle and carry it with them when they were escorting me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, I don't want to suggest committing a felony, but we might need to investigate the house, even if Lord Staunton doesn't want us to delve deeper. I think they might not be in their right mind, though I suspect it might be some kind of spell or curse more so than a haunting.
Did you leave a window unlocked?
I didn't think that far ahead. But I can unlock it for you from... Wait, really? Quick wave of my hand. Done.
Yeah. I mean, if we can, I don't know, get to the alley, I guess, might be able to find some place where I might be able to get access to the mansion, and I can look around.
Right.
What would I be looking for specifically?
Well, for starters, I'd like to be able to locate the vault. It's likely that whatever, if it is a haunt from an item, very likely that it's inside the vault. And if it's not, it's very likely that some kind of clue lies with the horde of items that they've been growing.
Alright. That seems relatively straightforward.
That's my best guess. Call it investigator's intuition.
Now, do you want to do this, on plan, just see what I can find in there, or do you want to gather some more information about the property first? I'm fine either way. Like, I can go in right now without too much issue. I mean, there's just one guy in there, correct? Or does he have guards inside as well?
No, it seems like it's just the two guards outside, and then it's just him inside. However, I think I'm getting the strong feeling that criminal escapades are your forte more so than mine.
Most definitely.
Right. Well, I'll take your lead on this one then.
I mean, if we want the highest chance for success, it's probably best to probably pay another visit to the Hot Bottoms, see if they happen to know any information, if anybody's already cased this, just thinking about robbing it. I mean, with a madman inside, most people would see that as easy pickings because he's not right in his head anyways, and anything that we steal, he probably won't even be believed on what was stolen. So I would assume that there's been somebody who's at least looked at it.
Right. And if it hasn't, there's probably a good reason for it. I'd like to know that reason.
Yeah.
Right. Lead the way, I suppose. Although...
Well, we probably should rest for the night and then do it tomorrow.
I don't think I managed to tell you, but I did buy some clothes for all of us, just in case we end up going to. I did have them dispatched to the inn, to the Rose. So might be a good idea to try them on once we get there.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Off we go to the Rose, I suppose.
Yep.
Right.
Fully intentional.
Sounds good.
Uh, cool. Yeah. The A lot of you walk through Baldur's Gate at midnight. You're in the good part of the city. You're fine. But you walk through Baldur's Gate and out the Black Dragon Gate.
Yes.
I think it's called. The Black Dragon Gate into the Rose. Where as you walk in at this point, it's probably like 12:30. You walk in, you see Eli in a corner.
Hey, Eli.
Hello. He doesn't
Hi.
turn around.
Come join us.
Okay, and he turns around. And he walks up uncomfortably close. And looks like almost straight down, because he's that much taller than almost all of you. Hello.
Hey.
Suppose we can. It's pretty late already. I'll. I think I'll turn in for bed. You guys want to catch Eli up on the goings-ons?
I mean, you were the guy that spoke to me. You were the one. Do you mean everything in general? Or?
Everything in general. I've also need to be caught up with what you guys were managed to get out of your little chat with the host. I sort of got the very, very brief details.
I
mean,
yeah.
don't actually have to do it in character. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
we sit down and get our heads on the plan, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Deal.
You guys find a table, sit down, go over the obscene amount of information that you probably have to lay out between interrogating Aravax and the individual conversations you had with Ori, and stopping at the sea tower, and then going to the manor of the Lord, and debrief everything. And
So in conclusion,
Mhm.
nothing is really concrete.
No, and that's exactly our problem right now.
I see.
So, tomorrow morning, I'll be heading back to the sea tower, see if they have any information for me. I'm guessing, Gira, you're going to be leading most of the rest of us to talk to the criminal sisters. Sorry, the hot bottom.
Yep.
Same thing.
I'll try to stay away from that as much as.
I mean, if you'd like, I could also. I mean, I'm good. I'm an elf, so I'm good on 4 hours of sleep. I could just go check in with them once they get up.
Well, I'm gonna have to go to the sea tower to check in, anyways. So might as well do that in parallel.
All right, sounds good.
We'll meet up at Boris, I suppose. No, if we do that, then we'll be across the town. We'll meet up at the Wide. If we once we are done with those two things, we can leave.
If you want, we could probably meet at the High House of Wonders. That way we can bring Eli along if we need to.
That's a much better idea, yeah.
And that way you don't have to leave the upper city again.
Is the White not inside the upper city?
The Wide is. The sea tower isn't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, the wide is this area, like this
Yep,
big
yep, yep, yep.
open area, and that's the Sito.
That's the wide.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I believe this one is the House of Wonders. Right there.
Yep.
The hexagonal
Something like
building.
that.
Yep.
It's just
Probably.
south of it.
Oh, okay.
That might be the museum.
This is the High House of Wonders.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Yeah, alright. Well, now that we have the plan for tomorrow morning, and we're all caught up, I'm gonna head to bed. It's pretty late, and we have an early start.
Alright, sounds good. Do we all have our own rooms?
Yes.
I don't remember. Okay.
I believe so.
Yes. Z paid for them all. Z is the party mom.
True.
The party bought us a bottle of wine earlier, so
Party mom.
It's to like wind us
The cool
down.
mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wants you to be responsible,
aunt.
so she would rather have you drink with her so she can keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
Get your seat, and then go get as much liquid as you want. You know.
But yeah, you guys finish debriefing and all head up to your individual rooms to lay in beds or stand in the middle of it if you're Eli.
Oh no, he
But-
closes the door and he stands like at the doorway.
Stand
There's
at the
no
door.
point in taking another 2 steps into the room. Cuts himself off once the door is closed.
It's in the finish it, honestly. So
And
Honestly, Eli should just pay for a spot on their floor and just stand there instead of a whole
Recommended
room.
Just sleep in the broom closet, but Z was like,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Just-
Like, okay.
just post him next to the front door and use him as a coat hanger.
Make money while you sleep.
Hey,
and
look,
then
I
he
got a
leaves
tip.
in the morning with all your coats.
you could give people the expiring health potions on the way out, so it sobers them up.
Z's gonna bring Eli home to his mom and dad.
This is my new best friend. Honey, you realize that is not a living creature, right? How dare you?
He has
Eli
feelings.
is the person.
Wait, no, I think he lost that module.
I can't feel anything. I have no nerves. But I'm very brave.
He's a brave robot.
Mom,
I
Dad,
don't think you
these are
can be
new
brave
vendors.
without being fearful. If you don't feel anything, you wouldn't feel fear. So
This guy gets it.
But yeah, as you all go into your rooms and spend the night, however you wish, I feel like this is a good place to call session. 'Cause I'm tired, and it's a
Heck
good
yeah.
ending.
You're
Sounds good.
As always, I hope you enjoy and have fun, or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah,
And if you didn't, too bad.
if you didn't, well, fuck, I guess.
If you didn't get wrecked. Alright. I'm gonna call stream there then, guys.
Alright.
Bye, stream.
Bye, stream.
Bye.